Hello, Collective. This is a timeless reading of yours, whatever brings you here. There may be something within your intuition informing you that there might be something within this reading to take with you. And may anything that does not resonate with you be left behind as you leave the reading behind. As you more or less may have noticed, this is a reading dedicated to love versus unconditional love. I am recording this reading intuitively. I haven't really reflected on what could be said. I'm just being told this is the reading. And this is more or less the attitude to kind of flow with, if you desire, between this channel and the way the energies express themselves and for themselves, and my sister channel, which with that being said, the link and the access point to get to my sister channel, if you're interested, is found in the description box below. A few things while I get ready for the reading is that I am Master Seventh, aka Seventh, that reads these energies for you. Because you want to know who she is, what she's all about, and what I have to offer, there is a link in the description box below to give you some access. For a little clarity, I am a master healer that provides only remote wellness alignments and also tarot intuitive insights of any kind. Again, should you want to explore other various forms of content that I have so far on my channels, you can check out the description box below to how to access some of these series. All of them, no matter the timeline, are valid, and whatever brings you to it, there may be something within it, as long as you desire to show up for it. 202. Remember that this is not a personal one-to-one or one-on-one reading. This is, however, a general collective reading that you have tuned yourself into. And femininity and masculinity are non-gender specific. However, both femininity compared to masculinity houses femininity, and masculinity as masculinity houses femininity and masculinity. Alright, so this is an intuitive insight message, or messages, in regards to love versus unconditional love. Let me just take a moment and figure out somewhat which way to go and how to perform. Okay, so I'm just going to flow with words either having to do with conditional love. Sorry, I might have said love versus unconditional love rather than conditional love versus unconditional love. There we go, we have figured that out. So conditional love versus unconditional love. All right, now the pendulum's really swinging. All right. Okay, so conditional versus unconditional. It's funny how I said love versus unconditional love. I'm hearing that's part of the reading. That's funny. All right. Conditional love. I'm pulling first. Conditional. Tune into this reading however you can. Don't force yourself. Magnetize. Allow yourself to be a pendulum and swing with the flow of the reading. Okay, no. All right, we're just waiting for some here. Conditional love. I think that's part of the message. Okay, yeah, that's part of the message. Waiting. Conditional love is waiting on someone. Conditioning yourself of an expectancy. Conditioning in using convincing words rather than the anticipatory anticipation of how your inner pendulum swings. And seeing with its stillness what it then enjoys being in neutral position, to or for. Conditional love is, I'm hearing the words, marginalized to be a prophet rather than being a prophet for existence. Conditional love feeds the ego that doesn't know whether it's operating of dark and or of light, so it wants to play a game. Conditional love is saying that something needs to look a certain way in order for you to accept it. Sorry, I'm being distracted. Okay. Conditional love is not allowing yourself being distracted. That's funny. Oh boy, that's funny. Conditional love works only if manipulation is its biggest form of currency. Conditional love is making somebody behave in a form and fashion so that way you're capable to digest being in the same atmosphere as that individual. Quite fucked up. All right. Conditional love. Still on the topic of conditional love. Conditional love. With that Ace of Cups here, that's emotional, right? And then the Queen of Wands, she can be very manipulative. So conditional love is very manipulative. It's very ego-driven of a connection. It has to convince itself that it is existing. It has to convince itself that it has to show up and participate in order for it to be a grand existence. Conditional love says you have to get married. Conditional love says you are not worthy of love if you are not wholly in its matrimony. Conditional love convinces you that there's a certain role that you have to play within the connection rather than being who you are, which is a derivative of being your true authentic self and living within that expression of chaos. All right, being told to pull some cards on unconditional love. Unconditional love. unconditional love is an independent journey. It is a reflection of who you are and a desire to always keep pushing, always striving to continue forward. And when there's pushback that pushes you literally backwards, that it's not the resistance of materialism that blocks you from moving forward, but the rejuvenation of taking a deep breath. Unconditional love is humble in its expression. It is powerful through this humble aspect of charm. Unconditional love focuses on removing you from any shackles that doesn't allow you to express who you are. Unconditional love anxiously anticipates for all the revolutionary ways of your personalities to be unleashed with whom you are and who you desire to be, no matter what kind of image it produces around you. It is what you produce and that you produce that is magnetizing and a joy to be in a presence and resonancy of, because it provides a pushback as to why it's important to take that singular breath, to continue watching the manifestation of either selves to revolutionize and evolve. Unconditional love is not needing to stamp the connection, yet to express the connection. Unconditional love is not rooted in fixating itself on emotional culpability. However, intellectualize emotional sensory and tries to traverse with it. Tries to traverse with that cup of love. In trying, it is doing, it is action, it is forward movement. It is not like the conditional love that is sitting still and is expecting things to come to them. That's conditional love. An expectancy is, because I do this, you need to do this. On these conditions, this either occurs or this shall occur only if you meet these conditions. It has a baseline that it is of absolution. Unconditional love is absolute in an infinite ways of its expression. It is a constant act of motion. And because it's an act of motion, it is for other people. Because other people get to see the power of the love of two or more, in some cases, loving each other. And through that sensory expression of being witness to that it feeds an inner internal euphoria that challenges the ego, while the ego goes fetching the world that you think you desire, while you determine for yourself that which it is you truly need versus want versus desire. Conditional love is a substance. It's somewhere where you need to go in order to rejuvenate. Unconditional love keeps escalating in power the more it is engaging with each other. Conditional love is 1, 3, and 7. Unconditional love is 3, 6, 9. Three of Cups. The third party energy between the two. Third party energy of figuring out what life is versus conditional love and unconditional love. And figuring out which baseline has the most power, because in the story, we give conditional love more power. We have the King of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. Collectively, the third party energy is revealing both the role of conditional love and the role of unconditional love. It is now being wedged between and is thus the third party. Because collectively we look at unconditional love, and we believe that it doesn't exist. Why would it? Because the things that we think love is based on is an emotional journey. And if experiences come and betray or taunt, tease, belittle, strike the emotions, well then said individual that emotes may convince themselves that that is what the world is all about. Pain. Yet the more we focus closer to this pain, we feel that we release ourselves in doing so, because we feel that we are at loss of something. And the more we take an inner look at what we think we've lost, we may become astounded by the passion that it took to get to that pain and the release it offers, and now letting go. That is all unconditional love. So the third party steps in and challenges the ego, whether that's in the mind or in the physical. The physical proves to you that you've always had it in mind, whether of you or not. You always had the third party element in your stance, because you are the King or Queen of Cups. You are the creator of the third party element, as controversial as this is going to be. All right. Oh, I already see people like, oh, getting mad or sad. Typical King of Cups energy. But again, understand that the reading took hold to try to define what conditional love is in the realm of what Seventh reads in her channel and through her energies and for her energies, and the message symbolically and auditorially to receive whatever you desire. In the beginning, conditional love was the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands with the Ace of Cups. Typically, we would look at that and say that's a beautiful connection. The Queen has the fire of breath to motivate the King, all through the act of catering through the emotional culpability of herself and hopefully arrive to thus someone else, non-gender specific. That flow can be and is a functioning flow, for it is a structure. However, the structure becomes weak when both individuals would say, get away from their throne, and someone else could easily take their place. Whereas an individual looking at this symbolically and wonder why we're receiving lesser enthusiastic cards for unconditional love, it's painting a different story and saying, well, it's your fucking problem. Those are almost the conditions towards an unconditional love journey, is that you are your sole creator of everything that you are. And that's the mystery coming forth from the King of Cups, who came right after the third party element, which is the wedge between anything that thinks it either works and needs to convince itself, or it doesn't work and they're still deciding to remain together. And if the connection is skewed emotionally, like a lot of entertainment has brought up to the surface to talk about and to feed off of entertainment and good gossip, with these cups being full, you can't really tell if this king is speaking his truth because he has content within the cup. There is a lackluster energy coming from this energy, from this reading, from this card for this reading. Things are asked backwards because we collectively might not really give credit to unconditional love, argumentatively so. Yet we're also frail as well as stoic to accept that maybe we have a say-so in creating this ultimate reality for ourselves, because what we're saying to desire is actually occurring. You just don't like the way it looks. The King of Cups is a succubus energy that exists because two separate energies don't know their worth. So when one feels weak, something else is going to come and try to magnetize itself no matter what, because although it might have been a weakened state, it's still powerful to attract something. So enter whatever something is. It's getting muddy with the three cups energy here. And that's the quality of not really understanding what the baseline of love is, to understand that there is conditional love and then there's unconditional love. And when we talk about love, we're on a quest of finding unconditional love, when we have totally forgotten that we have no idea, again, what love is all about. And the best way to figure that out, how much you might not know what love is when we ask you a direct question. Do you love yourself? And if you say you love yourself, do you need a partnership? Do you need something other than you? Or do you want something other than you? What is it that you're going to grab? Is it your needs? Or is it your wants? Is it the arguments of needs versus wants? Is it wants versus needs? It's all the attitude of a King of Cups. Still, what do I want? Because you are a king and queen of your own emotion, or the steps to become one, because it's always a process. That is the process of what it means to be a Homo sapien, is that you are an emotional being. However, do not stamp that just because you have emotions that is the ticket to nirvana. Unconditional love. Unconditional love feels in your body as if it's something that you can't ever reach. Unconditional love smells in your atmosphere as something unattainable. Unconditional love in your atmosphere seems too hard to work for, too hard to continuously aiming for if past chapters make it not an easy image to keep aiming for if none of the images you remember in reflection of memory is a positive emotion to self or of self. And that is a question to perhaps ponder upon. Why you feel that there is a difference between something. Because what you may not be realizing is that you are holding on to energy that is not of you. And because it's not of you does not mean that you are not processing or entangled within that shit. It means absolutely you're entangled in that shit. You're totally mixed up in it, whether you consciously know about it or not, whether you accidentally clicked yes or no, whether you consented yes or no. The fact that you're breathing the same air puts you in the fucking collective. Whether or not that air manifests to the cells and triggers you, that's a personal journey. And how it triggers you and how it affects you. If you think that triggering is positive or negative, that's all unconditional, because the effects of it is the conditional things you put upon yourselves, and thus you then have something to offer to others. All right, collective, I'm being told. Yep, that's where we're going to leave it, because at the end, at the bottom of the deck, that is the death card. It is time to change a perspective of some kind, and to understand that the beginning and the toughest perspective is to think that an end is the end. All right, with that being said, I'm wishing you a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the ether of this time and space. And may you keep flowing, growing, and glowing. Take care.